Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Welcome to the third hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show. I am Jesse Lee Peterson, uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Taking your phone calls at 888-775-3773, 888-77-JESSE. The Bible go-to guy is here. Right now. There is no other place I want to be. That's right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jesse.
Today you're talking about the tax-exempt status of Jesus, the true relationship between church and state. And the reason you're talking about that because I received a call. Someone called in, some guy called in.
A couple times.
And he called in and was saying that I was a hypocrite, because I run a nonprofit organization and we are tax exempt.
Which means you are a welfare recipient, is how he was trying to color it.
Yes.
Okay, let's get that straight. All right.
And this caller was out of New York or somewhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you say?
This is my response to him.
All right.
Go to Matthew chapter 17, verse 24. That is where Jesus talks about, they come to him. They came to him with many challenges. And one of the challenges was, hey, why aren't you paying the taxes?
They went to Jesus?
Yes. And pressed him about him not paying the taxes.
Who did this?
The temple tax. The authorities, the government authorities.
All right.
And Jesus says, he tells his disciple, go down to the brook, get a fish, and the first fish that you pull up, you'll get a coin, and from that coin, go ahead and give it to the tax man for you and for me. And later he told his disciples, who does the father tax his sons or strangers? And they said, they tax strangers. He said, isn't that interesting? We're being taxed, and I'm a son and not a stranger. And the founding fathers used that same theme to set up the relationship of church to state. They considered church above state. And Nebuchadnezzar, who was once a mighty emperor over the world, had to be brought low and removed from his kingdom for a time and then brought back to his kingdom. And there was a prophet who prophesied this would happen to him because he got filled up in his pride, in his heart with pride about how wonderful and great he was, and all this kingdom was due to his effort. And God said, no, I establish governments. I am over governments. And let me prove it to you by removing you and putting you back in. I'll remove you for a time, and I'll tell you exactly how long it's going to be, and then I'll bring you back.
Right.
He set that up with Nebuchadnezzar. The founding fathers understood this principle of church being over state. Now, there's other people who say, the church can abuse that power, and they worry about that. But a state without church over it becomes... It's God, and then the church over the people, and then you have the people. So the people actually, just like when Moses brought out the people from Egypt, remember that? In Exodus, he brought out the people from Egypt.
Yeah.
He was the government. And when God established the laws through Moses, he made sure to leave the men of God, the Levites, the priests, exempt from. In fact, the taxes came to them. The taxes of the state came to them. And the state at the time, there was no king. The taxes of
the state came to the church?
Came to the church.
Oh, okay.
The founding fathers understood this principle of church being above state. And not only that, even then that's why they set up a tax-exempt status. because the church is above the state. The state shouldn't be above the church.
Oh, this is why the founding fathers did this?
Yes, they did.
Because they understood that the church over the state?
The church is over the state.
And so the people today worry about the church being over the state because the church may get too much power?
That's right.
But if the church is not over the state get the power.
Then the state's got the power, and the state is usually, godless.
Yeah.
In comparison to the church. So not only that, let's look at the practical side of the 501 status. Is it C501?
501c3.
Okay, 501c3 status. The government being our Christian founding fathers, they recognized when they set up the government that the most difficult job in the world, the most difficult job, and the one with the least amount of success is some Christian pastor trying to turn the heart of a man back to God. That's the most difficult job.
Yeah, you say that again.
Once corrupted,
yeah.
And I know you've had experience with this, once corrupted, they're very difficult to turn back.
It is.
And most people just pretend like they've turned back. So the government realizing the need for good citizens, and good citizenship comes from the heart. You have to, in your heart, love your country. You have to, in your heart, want to do well as a citizen, to contribute. That has to be established in you so you don't become a burden on the state. And so they allow the church then to function as the soul of the state.
Yeah.
The soul of the soul of the people.
Yeah.
They allow them to function as the soul of the people, so they can keep the morale of the people high, the morals high, and the morale high, so they become good citizens, and they're not on welfare, draining the state. So the state makes an investment. And by the way, all the money that the church gets is from private people who have earned that money in a private way. So the state allows, because the church does the most good for society, even better than business. You notice who gets the tax breaks? The average guy does not get a tax break because all he does is go to work, come home, go to work, do his thing.
Yeah.
Family.
Right.
A business actually gets tax breaks from government more than the average citizen, because a business promotes the general welfare greater than an average citizen does by just going to work and managing his own affairs. A church is even greater in the effect it does over a business, because a church, like I said, establishes the heart of the people. That makes so much
sense, man.
And so that's why this extra tax break is given to the church, so that it can do its work. It's an investment, and it pays off well for the state in good citizenship.
The caller, he just hate me anyway. He's a hater. He's angry. And so he was just trying to I couldn't even explain it to him. He was so angry. Back in a moment. We're going to take some calls when we come back.